Do you know what God does? God does what we can't. Nothing is impossible with God. When I remember when the Israelites were outnumbered, they won battles because God was with them. I remember Joseph was going through hell on earth and all these things were happening, but he made it through because God was with Joseph. I remember when Gideon had to narrow it down to 300 people against thousands. And guess what? They ended up prevailing because God was with them. God tips the scales in our favor, right? And having God's presence with us is the number one X factor in experiencing the blessed and victorious life that we want to experience and that he created us to experience. This is why the enemy seems to always be actively trying to push us away from God, keep us from the presence of God, and keep us from being aligned with the will of God in our everyday lives, because he needs us to be distant from God so we can be distant from favor, distant from victory, distant from overcoming, distant from prevailing, distant from experiencing the fullness of everything that God wants us to experience. So I just want to say this today. I want to say, draw near to God and let him draw near to you. Be intimate with God and let the intimacy flow into the blessing of God in your life. Let his love just invade your life and your circumstances so that you get to live the life of a person that is undefeated in this world, because we're more than conquerors through him who loves us, right? God has given us that absolute victory, but it's tied together with us being in intimate relationship with him. So don't let the enemy or the world or even your own flesh deceive you into creating distance between yourself and God, because that's how you ruin the things that God wants to do in your life. That's how you hinder the blessing from flowing. That's how you prevent yourself from experiencing the fullness of all that God had for you. Some of us, we have some of the basic blessings like life and health and some of the things that we could probably have without even aligning ourselves fully. But I'm going to tell you something. There's so much that we cheat ourselves out of by being disobedient, by being distant from God, by allowing the enemy to create distance, or by sinning and living a life of sin and ruining the intimate relationship God is trying to establish with us. So let's start just allowing God to mold us and shape us into the men and women he wants us to be, and to empower us to experience the fullness of the blessed life he created us for, because it's available to all of us. God bless you.